Before we get into a bunch of questions, the fight we've talked about as a team, we've learned from the experience, and we're moving on. The NBA is going to make a ruling. We don't know what that ruling is yet. So, basketball questions.
In case suspensions do come.
In case. What do we got?
What's the plan B in terms of local lineup or rotations?
Yeah, those decisions will be made when we know the reality of what's going to happen.
What did you learn from it?
We learned. We talked about that as a group, and we learned. Everyone learns something differently, but we brought it up. We talked about it. The message was delivered, and now it's about next man up, moving forward, and keep positive, keep getting better.
What was the setting of that conversation? Were you out here on the court, or was there like a
in the film room?
setting? Okay. And who spoke?
Was it Stern in my case? No, we had a message. It was I talked to the guys, opened it up, and then we moved on. We got into the film from last night, and we put our focus on today, about being about today and getting better today, and we did that. We had a good practice today.
Did Brandon or Rondo say anything to the group? Did Brandon or Rondo say anything to the group?
I don't. Again, I'm not going to talk about what people say or don't say behind the closed doors. I talk to the group. I'll talk about myself. I talk to the group. Yeah.
How tough is it at this point when you guys are still figuring out rotations, lineups, what works to lose two players like Rondo and Ingram, schematically and chemistry-wise?
Well, we haven't lost them yet. They both practiced today. They were both great in practice today, and we got better today.
Did they practice with the second unit?
Brandon was with one unit. Rondo was with a different unit.
Did LeBron practice?
LeBron did the first part of practice, and then I told him I wanted to rest those legs of his. We got 3 and 4 nights coming up, so he was on the sideline watching practice.
Luke, were you disappointed with the level that got to last night?
The game? No, I thought we played well. I thought we had a chance. We were only down 1 or 2 late in the game. Like I said, first night we gave up around 20 second chance points. Last night we were down 8 or 9. So things we're focusing on and things we're getting better at, we're doing. And Houston's a very good team. They made some really tough shots. We didn't execute down the stretch, but we're moving the ball. We had 26, 27 assists around there and 10, 11 turnovers. So the things we're focused on, we're getting better at. So not disappointed in that.
I'm sorry, I wasn't clear. I was talking about the fist fight.
Oh yeah, no, we're moving on from the fist fight. We're about how to get better today.
One last question about the NBA said its investigation apparently centering on whether or not spitting took place. Carmelo said that, I guess, it was spitting in the face.
That's the question.
Did that take place?
Sorry. I don't know.
The free throw disparity from last night, I think it's probably maybe one of the issues of tension. How much can you control that?
A lot. We fouled. I mean, we know what's called a foul in this league. So whether we agree with it or not, we know what's going to be called a foul. And we had our arms out. We reached, and they took advantage of that. And part of that is getting reps against playing, that team. They're really good at it. They got 2 guys that draw a lot of fouls, and you got to show your arms and put your chest out. And when we did that, we had some success guarding them, and when we didn't, they shot foul shots. But ultimately, I think that was what lost us the game, was setting them to the line too many times.
What about your own aggression, trying to get to the line, trying to get guys like LeBron, Brandon?
Yeah, we've been great. We had 70 points in the paint again, right around that. I mean, we're playing the way we want to play. I feel like when you're that aggressive, you should be on the line more, but part of that is building our identity and teams knowing this is what they do, and then hopefully some of those calls we end up with more free throws because we're known as being a physical team that attacks the ring.
Did you dive into any of the video of the fight itself, and if so,
No.
did your opinion
change
at all?
I watched video until 3 a.m. last night on our game and breaking down clips of what we need to do to get better, what we did well, what we didn't do well, and put together an edit for this morning. Showed that edit, and when I get out of here, I'm going to go watch film on San Antonio.
Lonzo said last night he's 100%. I know that you had said there was some sort of minutes restriction for him.
He looks great. There's a minute restriction there was on last night. I got to sit with the training staff again today because we always wait till the day after the game to discuss. But there was still a minutes restriction as of last night, and I'll get with the training staff today and see where we're at with all that.
Houston sought out Kuzma on a lot of those switches. What was your evaluation of his perimeter defense last night on the post?
He's got to be much better. He knows that.
What does he need to be better at?
Well, one, the technique. He's got these little happy feet. He likes to shuffle them. Two, he's got to take it personal, which I think he does. He texted me as soon as the game was over, said that will never happen again. So, that's the wanting and the willing, and then the technique to do it is all part of it. And part of it is, he's doing a lot of things. He's the second year in the league, and he's playing against the MVP. We have him switching onto the MVP of the league, and we have him in a deep drop playing backup center. So he's got a lot of responsibility. But we feel like he can handle that, and he'll learn, and he'll get better from that. But yeah, he's got to be better, and he knows that.
What are the reasons he's playing differently? Luke, he's playing differently defensively, depending on the position. How about offensively? Does that affect where he's going to be on the other end of the court with Kuzma? Is he still figuring that out?
Well, that's part of the reason we're trying to do it, because we feel he can really change the pace for us on offense and spread the floor and get us out and running, which we've done a really nice job of, which is why we want him on that floor. But it only works if we can get stops. So, it's a work in progress. But, yeah, the way he plays offense is a big part of trying to keep him out there as much as possible.
Besides the score and being within a point when all that stuff happened, how close do you think you guys are to just kind of getting over the hump in these games? Like how small are the details?
It's transition defense. It's playing defense without fouling. They're all just as important. And every game takes on its own life. So it's not like, if all of a sudden we can stop fouling, we'll automatically win these games. It's about doing what's needed that game, and especially down the stretch of the games, closing them out, making plays. And we're close to getting there, but we're not close to where we need to be. I mean, we're miles away. We got a lot of work to do all season long to get to where we need to be.
Did Lance show you anything to his role last night in playing peacemaker?
Well, what I loved about Lance last night was his competitive spirit while we were playing. I mean, that game was getting chippy. It was back and forth. And Lance was locked in on defense. He was doing everything we were asking of him as far as cutting without the ball. He wasn't catching and holding and doing, even though he's good at that dribbling stuff, we've asked him to limit that. He didn't have a lot of those possessions. So just the overall way Lance was playing, and then the way that he was competing on the defensive end, he was probably, in watching film, probably our best individual defender when he was switched on to Harden and Paul and those guys. So that's what I was most impressed with on Lance last night.